Another late night. Another empty building. I've always preferred the quiet of the overnight shift. Just me, the hum of the servers, and the endless maze of hallways. But lately, the silence hasn't been so peaceful. It started subtly. A flicker of the lights in corridors C. A pen rolling off a desk I swore I hadn't touched. I'd just chalk it up to an old building settling or my mind playing tricks on me after too many hours staring at screens. You know how it is. Your eyes get tired. You start seeing things. I wish that's all it was. The first time I saw it on camera, my heart nearly stopped. I was doing my usual sweep of the monitors, cycling through the feeds. North wing, all clear. Cafeteria, empty. Then, the lobby. For a split second, I thought my screen had glitched. A dark smudge standing right in the middle of the empty floor. It wasn't a shadow from the moonlight. It was solid. A tall, thin silhouette. Just there. I blinked, and it was gone. I replayed the footage. There it was again. A man-shaped void. It stood perfectly still for about 30 seconds. Then it seemed to glide, not walk, closer to the camera lens until it filled the entire screen with blackness. Then, nothing. The feed was back to normal, showing an empty, silent lobby. My breath caught in my throat. I grabbed my flashlight, my hand trembling slightly. Standard procedure. Permit, I told myself. Investigate any anomalies. The walk to the lobby felt 100 miles long. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the ventilation system sounded like a footstep behind me. When I got there, the lobby was exactly as it should be. Empty. But the air, it was freezing. Not just a draft, but a biting, unnatural cold that clung to my skin. I did a full sweep, checked all the doors, even looked behind the front desk. Nothing. But the feeling of being watched was so intense. The hairs on the back of my neck stood straight up. I hurried back to the security office, locking the door behind me, a precaution I'd never felt the need to take before. Back at my desk, I kept my eyes glued to the monitors, my coffee forgotten. The activity started escalating. On camera 3, the door to the records room, a heavy fire door, swung shut with a loud bang that echoed through my headphones. I jumped in my seat. No one was there. The camera showed an empty hallway. A few minutes later, the intercom on my desk crackled to life. It was usually dead silent unless someone from the main gate buzzed in. A hiss of static filled the office, and underneath it, a low, guttural whisper. I couldn't make out any words, just a rasping sound that made my blood run cold. I started tracking the cameras, trying to find it again. And I did. It appeared in the server room, a flicker of movement behind the racks. Then in the west staircase, a dark shape descending into the shadows. It was as if it knew I was watching, playing a game of cat and mouse. It was following my patrol route, appearing in rooms I had just checked. The cold spots followed it, dropping the temperature in each location by 10 degrees, according to the digital thermostats on my screen. This was real. The climax of my terror came around 3 a.m. I was leaning forward, studying the feed from the finance department, when I noticed something on the monitor for the security office itself. My own office. The camera is positioned in the corner, giving a wide view of the room and the back of my chair. On the screen standing directly behind me was the figure. It was taller than it had seen before, its form indistinct but undeniably present, its head tilted as if it were looking down at me. I froze, every muscle in my body locking up. I didn't dare turn around. I could feel it. The air behind me was icy. I could almost feel a presence breathing down my neck. My eyes darted from the monitor to the reflective surface of my cold coffee mug, but I saw nothing behind me but the empty office. Yet on the screen, it was still there, motionless, watching me. That was it. I wasn't staying another second. This job wasn't worth my sanity or my life. I grabbed my keys and my jacket, my eyes still locked on the monitor. The figure hadn't moved. I slowly stood up, backed away from the desk, and turned towards the door. I didn't look back. I fumbled with the lock, my hands shaking so badly I could barely get the key in. I yanked the door open and sprinted down the hallway, not daring to look behind me. The sound of my own footsteps was deafening in the silence. I reached the main exit, the heavy glass doors that led to the parking lot and freedom. I pushed the bar. It didn't budge. I pushed again, throwing my entire weight against it. Nothing. It was locked solid, which was impossible. It was a panic bar. It was supposed to open from the inside. All was a loud slam echoed from down the hall. The door to the security office had been thrown shut. My heart leaped into my throat. A sickening wave of dread washed over me. I was trapped. I looked up at the security camera mounted above the exit doors. It was pointed right at me. And as I watched my own panicked face on a nearby monitor, I saw the darkness begin to coalesce in the hallway behind me on the screen. It was mobbing gliding towards me. Faster this time. The lights in the lobby began to flicker violently, plunging me into strobing flashes of light and shadow. The intercoms throughout the building screeched to life, a cacophony of static in the same low, horrifying whispers, now seeming to come from all directions at once. The figure on the monitor was getting closer, its shape becoming clearer, darker, more absolute. It was almost upon me. The final thing I saw before the feed cut to black was my own reflection in the glass door. My face, a mask of pure terror, staring at something right beside me, something my eyes couldn't see, but I could feel its chilling presence right there, its cold breath on my cheek. The next morning, the building owner arrived to find the front doors unlocked and the building empty. The night shift worker was gone. His car was still in the parking lot, his half-full coffee cup still on the desk. The only thing left was the security recording. He watched the footage, saw the strange glitches, the moving objects, the workers' growing panic. He watched until the final, terrifying moments. He rewound the last frame again and again. The recording cuts out just as the entity on the screen is about to reach the worker. The final, frozen image is of the man's face, contorted in fear, his eyes wide, staring at a point in space just to his right. A point that, to the naked eye, and to the building owner watching the screen, was completely, utterly empty. He was never seen again. They say if you work the night shift in that building now, you should never, ever watch the monitors too closely. You might just see a new shadow has joined the old one, and it might be looking for company.